Hello, welcome to my little corner of the internet. I don't know whether to start telling you about the middle bit or the whole reason for this anyway. So I'm going to tell you that the reason I'm doing this is purely accountability. I find that I work better when I have got that. And there's a few things I want to work on the next wee while, and I'm hoping that accountability from doing this and hopefully comments or questions or whatever comes of this might spur me on or some way. So the middle bit came from belief that there is most things that got a start, a middle and an end, and starting things is usually quite easy in general terms. A job for example, you start a job, you're excited, normally you get supported, you get trained, you're learning new things. There's quite a buzz about that. And then when you leave for usually reasons that are positive. Either you're retiring, if you're lucky, or you are going on to do another job or promotion or many other reasons. But the middle bit is the hard bit, the bit where you've had all the training, you've learned all the job, and you're just plodding along. that can be a hard bit, that bit, unless you've got a job that constantly challenges you. And I think there's those jobs are special. Even life, if you look at life, you're born, you're encouraged, you're nurtured, or you should be. You're trained and educated and valued and brought up to, to a certain extent, you're by a wider community. Then there comes this middle bit where you're kind of just coasting. You might not be quite where you want to be in your career, you might not have the family you want yet, wherever you might be, or you might have had your family and you've done that bit, and then you're at the hard bit, middle bit, because by jings, bringing up kids is hard work. Not that I have that problem, thank goodness, no offence, but plenty of people around it would do. I don't envy them. And in the end of life, obviously, you die, and that's not that hard for most people. Don't get me started on cancer deaths, they're just horrific, but your average end is it's about time and it's normal, if that makes sense. But there's also for me personally, weight loss. I find at the beginning of any kind of diet or health plan or focus on food, there's always this buzz, and you're starting something new and fresh, and you're writing down everything you eat and everything you drink, and you're tracking it and you're measuring it and you're talking about it. And I'm told the end bit, not that I would know, but I'm told the end bit is really epic when you get to the end of that journey. I can only believe these people. it looks to be true. But the middle bit's hard. The first week usually is quite a lot of weight in most plans because you've got most of it is water. And then the second week you're still motivated, you're still learning what this new way of doing things is. You're seeing results in scales, or you're seeing results in your clothes, so you keep going. And in 3, 4, 5 weeks then you start to, here we are again, still writing things down, still watching what we're doing, and there's a birthday at work and there's cakes there, or the grandkids are coming around and you've got to buy stuff in for them, or there's tons of reasons why it's hard to do the middle bit in a diet. And that's one of the key things here, because I found in the past so to wrap that up, that's where the middle bit came from. I think the middle bit in most scenarios is hard, and I found that accountability works for me, not just with family and friends, but with public. I'm not going to talk too much about this on here just now, but I have done something in the past where accountability was key, and it worked a treat. Absolutely worked brilliantly. So I might talk about that more in the future, depending on how this goes. So the next few years I am going to be looking to study. That's something to tell you all about. I have signed up with the Open University to do the Open degree, which means that you end up with a BA or BSc based on a number of modules, and to get to those, get to that magic number, you can pick and choose from a variety of different subjects. So you're not only doing one type of subject and getting your degree. It's called the open degree because it's flexible, it's open. So I'm starting off with health and social care. Only on week 2 I think we are, and so far interesting. I actually always believed that distance learning would be you sit at home and you get a pack of books through the door and you just get on with it and that's it, you know, no support. You want support, go to college, go to university. However, I was so wrong. Open university, I mean, I'm going to sound like a total advocate just now for it, but so far, even before the course date of the start date, the support's fantastic. They had forums set up, there was Twitter feeds you could follow, there's Facebook groups you could join, there's a tutor assigned to you. It's just fantastic. And now that the course has actually started, the tutor's in touch with you regularly, there's tutorials online, there's day schools you can go to, depending on the type of course you're doing, depends on what support you get. But for mine, I can't fault it. And the first course, because it's a level 1 course, it also teaches you how to study. And being someone who was told they were thick at school once by someone and believed them, I've never done this before. I've never done the academia thing, so it's quite an eye-opener and I learned a lot of things. But I'm really lucky. The office I work in is a lot of engineers, full-time job, and they're clever people and they've got degrees, so I'll be picking their brains on how they've done things and how they studied and things like that. So it's just so far it's fantastic. Don't know how it's going to go. That's why I'm doing this, because it's the beginning. I'm full of excitement and all the buzz, but the middle bit will be the hard bit. So that's why I'm doing this as well, to get some support and to share support as well, hopefully, with my fellow students. So that's going to be quite the focus. Next 5 years I believe it's going to take to get a degree. We'll see, it depends, because it's quite costly as well. If you're under a certain wage bracket, this is now a dig at my sister who's also doing this, you get support paid for you. I'm overpaid obviously, so I didn't qualify for the funding, so it can be quite expensive, but that's a reason why I'm going to be selling my craft items. We used to do a lot of stuff for charity. In fact, we've raised, as a group of us, I've raised about over £30,000 in the last few years. So it's time to do selfish crafting now. So now it's going to be sold for profit, and that hopefully will pay for next year's course. That's if this one goes okay. The other thing is the weight. I want to lose, I'd like to lose 10 stone ideally, but realistically the next 5 years I'd like to lose either all of that or a bulk of that. I'm not in no rush. I've been overweight since I was 16. I can wait. And then with all that, obviously I'm going to have to look at my spending. So I'm going to be looking to be learning how to cook, following, I'm actually going to do, it's called WW now, or as I like to call it, that's what I say when I get to the scales. I'm going to follow it. It used to be called Weight Watchers. It's like Prince. Remember Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince, and he was a symbol. Well, this is what it's like with Weight Watchers now. It's the WW. That's a symbol that used to be known as Weight Watchers. So I'll probably talk about that a bit on here, because I don't want to bore people round about me with it if they're not interested. And if you're not, you can easily just fast forward or just not watch this. So you've got it easy. People round about me are stuck with it. And along with all that, I've also got to deal with, I don't know how to put this, but I suppose generalised anxiety disorder is what I've technically got. It just means I live with anxiety, and I do pretty well actually. Took a lot of years to get diagnosed properly, and medication I'm on just now is working fine. Have my moments, but I try and hide it most of the time. So it's quite surprising, a lot of people don't know I've got it, but I'm getting more and more vocal about it, because I think there's so many people suffering in silence with these things. Who cares? It's, you know what I mean? You've got a broken leg, I wouldn't expect you to run. So if you've got a sore head, I wouldn't expect you to be thinking about stuff you know it's hard to think about. So just going to be a bit kinder with people with mental health and focus on that a bit. So next 5 years, studying for my degree, making money out of crafting to pay for my degree, losing 10 stone or some part thereof, dealing with anxiety, being kind to myself, sharing the love. And lastly, with this, I think if this works, I don't know what's going to happen here, I really would love to share a bit of BSL, British Sign Language. I find that there's this thing called Makaton some people do, and I think, why even bother? Why not teach your babies or your children BSL, British Sign Language? It's a recognised language in the UK, has been for some time now, and you can talk to a whole group of people and open up another door for them, so why not? So I'm going to start with the letter A. I want you to think, if you're right-handed, your right hand is your pen and your left hand's your paper, and if opposite way around, if you're left-handed and your left hand's your pen and your right hand's your paper. So if you think of it like that, it makes it easier to then create the words and letters and symbols, things like that. So we'll start with A. So it's your thumb. A-E-I-O-U is actually the vowels. We'll start with A and you just point to your thumb. And if you're handed the other way, point to your thumb just the other way. That's it. That's A. And A for apple. So I'm going to give you a letter and a word. We'll just go through the alphabet first, why not? A for apple. So apple is, so you're doing the motion of eating an apple. So that's it. Apple. A. Apple. There you go. Have a great day.
The middle bit.
Check your stretch marks.